You owe yourself everything. You owe yourself the world. And some people mistake arrogance over, they think that because you're not wanting to see them, you're different now. You want to do things differently. You've got more of a positive energy about yourself. You're more self confident. Some people mistake confidence with arrogance, but let them think that. If they think you're arrogant, just let them think it. It doesn't matter really. One thing you don't owe anyone anything is your time. You don't owe anyone. You do not owe anybody anything. Who says you have to do this? Who says you have to, you know, contribute to, play the fucking role and just do the normal things. Don't be yourself. Like a lot of people, life is designed. Life is designed for you to be somewhat brainwashed and follow this social fucking paradigm. It's life is designed to catch you off, to make you less of yourself. I mean, a lot of people say, well, don't have an ego. Don't have an ego. It's good to have an ego. You need to have an ego. You need to have some confidence about yourself and some power and some control over your life. Set a schedule. Do things on your terms. Don't don't think that you owe anyone anything. If you don't know somebody, don't allow them to think that they're better than you or whatever. You literally don't owe anyone anything. You live in life on your terms. You live in life on your own starting point. And this is why I'm very strict now. Even with what I eat, I treat my body like a temple. I I'm not scared to refuse. Like say if my parents, my mum, whatever came with some I don't know, a chocolate bar, and I'd be like, I can't have it. Sorry, but thanks for the offer, but I'm not. I can't. One thing you need to learn, you need to realise is life doesn't owe you anything. Life doesn't owe you anything, and it's kind of bittersweet. You think that the fact that life doesn't owe you anything and no one's coming to save you, and well, I'm on my own, or this is depressing, but this is exactly what's needed. This is exactly what's needed, because if you know that nobody owes you anything, no one's coming to save you, and it's all down to you, it's only going to just want to make you work harder, work faster, and realise that if I'm like the only thing that's going to it, you need to stop waiting for things to happen, and you need to go towards the things that will bring you joy. You need to stop waiting and realize and thinking that someone somewhere is gonna take pity on you and help you out, because that the chances are is that it's never gonna be like that. Nobody feels sorry for you. I mean, even the people who feel sorry for you, they're not gonna feel sorry for you enough to want to change your life. Like nobody in the world now is like, oh, poor Jack, I should donate him a fucking shit ton of money to help him with whatever he wants to do. Nobody thinks that way. When you realise that life is set up in a certain way to knock you off your game, and everything in life, what we know is life, society, especially the West. Nobody likes these typical things like ego and you know uh, just having a bit of a complex about yourself, like maybe, oh, he worships himself too much, he's too full of himself. But it's exactly what's required for you to move out of the shithole from where you're from. It's okay to have a bit of a god complex about yourself. It's okay to not want to speak to everybody. It's okay to literally mind your own business. Who says that you owe anyone anything? The moment you realise that you need to take yourself out of the picture and just fuck everybody else, what they're doing, what they're saying about you. It doesn't matter what they say. The more you can live your own life, because you are a small fish in a very large pond. And a lot of people have the same aura mindset about themselves. they think that they're the shit and that everyone should worship them and you're nothing in their world and they just see you as a character. Who gives a fuck? You know, if you're really self-dedicated and addicted to yourself, you won't even notice them. People like that are just, they're just nothing. People who think that you owe them something and you're just minding your own business, doing life your own way and doing it the proper way. You are going to go through a lot of shit. Maybe you was naive or gullible at a time and you felt like, well, if I just give this person some money, this one time, maybe it will pay off and they will give me the money back. It doesn't work like that. Usually when you give people money, how long is a piece of string? You're waiting on fucking ages, and sometimes we just play it off like, well, I didn't lend you money. Well, you gave me money. So fucking, they're so fucking full of themselves, and we think that, well, your kindness is weakness or whatever. And to be honest, this is part of the story. It's all character building. It's all part of the process. You can't just become so self-obsessed all of a sudden without some kind of pain, without some kind of fucking setbacks. And once you realise people are just, nobody's really considering you in anything. Nobody's thinking and up at night and thinking, oh, I wonder what Jack's up to. I wonder what he's up to. I wonder X, Y, and Z. Life doesn't stop for anybody, and you're just part of his process. You're just part of his fucking system. You're into just you gotta just play along and play the rules and I think that creating your own financial independence and being self-dependent as possible, self-independent, less dependent on others, is part of breaking out of this whole fucking dystopia. It's all part of it. Sometimes you have to just fuck everybody else, and you just have to disregard everybody else and be in your own world, and really not give a fuck, and then come back and be like, well, you know what? I can now help you. I can now come back and be more of myself. But it takes this selfish part of yourself. It takes this year of being selfish, or however how long, 1, 2, 3 years of you being selfish and being self-orientated and self-driven, in order to really get something out of life, to really help other people. And that's what they don't understand. You can't just be selfless without being selfish. Because usually when you're being selfless without being selfish first, it just doesn't go right. You're not focusing on yourself, and it's all bringing your attention to other people who don't really deserve it, but won't do anything for you in the first place. So what's the point? But with that being said, you being selfish before being selfless, I think that's the way it's got to go. You can't be selfless before being selfish. You got to be selfish. You've absolutely got to be selfish. And you got to just bite the bullet. Whatever people say, well, he's just an arrogant, cocky bastard who thinks his shit doesn't stink. Like, let him judge. Let him have an opinion on you. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They're just a small little fucking particle in this world, just like you are. They're just a small drop of the ocean in this massive world. Literally. The small fish, big pond. That's what people are. They're not big fish in a big pond. Like, when you see everybody else, they're just living their own lives, or maybe somebody might be trying to annoy you. You gotta think, why is he trying to annoy me? Is he got nothing going on for himself, that he's just so corrupt and is a fucking disrupted soul that it's got to come for me? It's got to try and get something from me, because that's usually the case. When people show all this bitterness and narcissism and ugliness about themselves. It's because they're corrupt. They've got nothing going for themselves. And unfortunately, life is mostly about learning to ignore everything. It's about learning to ignore other people and realizing that you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. So you gotta harden yourself to face reality. Because the more you're doing good, the more positive you are with yourself, and the more that you're radiating that, and maybe you've got more possessions. I don't know. It's not about possessions, but what I'm trying to say is the more other people seeing that you're doing good, the more you are going to be a target, unfortunately, and the more you're having to learn to not give a fuck. Let everybody else just talk behind your back. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter at all, because why should it matter? We're gonna die soon, and you could either go towards the coffin of still worrying and thinking about what fucking Jim said about 20, 30, 40 years ago, or you could go to your grave in a clear mind that you did the best you could with the cards that you was given. Period. You know, throughout the whole time I've been living, I couldn't be any more serious about my health. I couldn't be any more serious about just wanting to get back into work. And I don't care what stage I'm at in my life. I could be 27, I could be 37, I could be fucking 47. Nothing is going to deter me from picking up the pieces and fixing my life. Nobody, nothing. No one. People say, well, you can't do it alone, you need people. I beg to differ. I think I can live my life alone. I think I can go throughout this world alone. I don't think I need people. I think that through stoicism and just learning to adapt, I can do anything. I don't think it requires having to play this stupid social game in order to get something out of life. I think it's all down to yourself. I don't think you have to be social. I'm an introvert. I do not like people. I like learning stuff like Stoicism, Machiavellism, Marcus Aurelius. You know, I like philosophy. I like listening to music. I like working out. I like just doing stuff that gets me out of here, that gets me out of my head. That's bigger than me, you know. I like dogs. I don't like people because I know what people come with. That's a lot of narcissism, selfishness, egotistical driven things that they're all doing it for themselves, and then they just throw you on the shit. They just leave you out they just throw you out whenever they feel like it. People are just selfish creatures. When you feel like somebody is really doing something for you, it's most likely they're not doing anything for you. They're trying to boost their portfolio. They're trying to boost something about themselves, their social cred or whatever, their status. Oh, look at me, look who I'm with. Look what I've just mugged off this fucking goon. Look how much money I've fucking extorted from this guy. He thinks I'm his mate. I know it all. And that's why I'm saying now, I don't give a fuck about being social. All my life I've struggled with it. All my life. But not anymore. No, I'm not allowing myself to fall for it again. I'm not allowing myself to be a target. I'm not gonna allow myself for people to get something out from me because I'm literally, everything about me is locked. You know, and if you can get in here, then fucking good luck. You know, it's a very, you know, it's like having a door. My life right now, and what I want to disclose and what I don't want to disclose, what I want to and don't want to, are very much hidden. I don't show much about myself to people I don't know. And I've realised a long time ago that people just don't give a shit. People don't give a shit what I've got to say. So this is why I've got these walls up high. It's why I'm focusing on myself to get myself better, and you know, because I've realised nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about me personally. So the way I act like I'm if my inner self if it's the door to my life, the door to my inner self, it's not going to be unlocked. It's going to be very much locked and bolted with so many different padlocks, combination systems, so many fucking different ways of it being locked that it's going to take a while to unlock me, because I simply cannot afford to expose anything about myself. And knowing what I've been through with other people, why would I set myself up again to be a fool? Why would I want to go out and just be yourself, or just go out and talk to people, or people aren't scary, you know? Why would I set myself up for failure? And why would I do that to myself? I think that being safe is a very human instinct, and I think that certain people who have just gone through shit so much, they realise that they've got to play everything safe, they've got to ask questions, they've got to really be the lookout for themselves, because they've only got themselves. It's like, you know, if you're talking to a random online and it's fucking Mohammed or Mahood or whatever, and he's got a good game about himself, and he poses to be a good guy, and he's like, oh mate, could you just lend me a fiver, or well, you know, or oh well, could you just, you know, or we send you a dodgy link or something, and you know, and it's some kind of PayPal or whatever, but it's a virus. Some people might fall for it. Some people fall for others online, and I've been one of them, who appear to be a nice guy or nice woman or whatever, but all they're trying to do is reel you in, get you soft, so they can just fucking walk all over you. And it's not just online that you've got to worry about, it's other people in real life. Like, literally, you've got to be so focused on yourself and be aware of your surroundings these days than ever before, because everybody, I think a lot of people have they have good game, they have a good strategy to throw you off your game. So, yeah, I'm not doing it no more.